right, welcome back. So, just a couple days ago, OpenAI did this live stream, which you can see in front of us, to talk about a new tool that they have released as a research preview, and it is called Operator. There are a couple videos on it and this live stream where you can learn more. But if you want to try it, you need their $200 a month pro subscription, and that is not cheap. However, after kind of seeing some of these videos, I decided to bite the bullet and at least subscribe for 1 month to give this thing a try. And you know what? Make some content out of it as well. So, hey, my $200 hopefully will shed some light on what this tool is. And then you can decide if it's right for you. What Operator is think about it as, in my view, a machine learning model that can operate a web browser like a human would. And so the demos they show in their videos are things like I want to order food or book a table or do some shopping, like reserve a hotel, etc. And what you can see it doing in front of us is they're booking a table on OpenTable. And you're like, wow, that's not really novel. Like there are lots of things that can do that. What you realize is different about Operator is it is able to perform these tasks with no prior knowledge of the websites. So normally, if you wanted an integration with OpenTable, you would need to use APIs or something else. Like OpenTable would need to expose APIs, you would need to integrate those, and then scaling that out to new services becomes harder and harder. Or if you've been around in tech a long time, you may be like, well, this is just like UI automation. This is nothing new. We've been doing this for, I'll say decades, but maybe not that long. But I've certainly done a lot of web automation or UI automation, when I was testing applications. Again, if you've done basic kind of UI automation, like those scripts and those environments are very tailored to the particular UI tool or website that you're testing. Where Operator is different, like I said, is it doesn't need to know how to use these websites. It is a new machine learning model that works. I think it's probably trained on watching humans interact with websites, is my guess. I haven't seen the material that really goes into that. And what it does is it takes screenshots of the browser and feeds those pixels into the model to figure out what to do next. So if you think about it, like with this tool, like the API is now pixel, right? Which is very much like how a human works. When you browse the web, you open it up, you are staring at the pixels on the screen, and you figure out what to do next. Your carbon-based machine learning model sitting in your skull processes those pixels, figures out how to move your muscles to click the next thing. And so I think Operator is the first step in that direction. And once you realize that and you're like, oh, well, okay, like that's pretty cool. So you can describe what you want it to do with a standard prompt similar to ChatGPT, and it will go find the website that it needs to use or potentially multiple websites, and it will just perform those tasks on the website, even if it's never seen them before. And so in front of us, you can see it is working with OpenTable to book a reservation. And again, research demo, I don't know where they're going to go with this in the long term, but the way it works is it actually hosts a browser instance like on the server side. And you can see the browser running and you can see what it's doing, but it's kind of a server side browser that you can actually, if you need to, jump in and control yourself. And there are some cases where Operator will come back to you and pause and say, hey, I need your help with this. But it's running on their machines. And so like if you need to do anything with an account, you need to go log in using their browser instance. And I'll show you some examples of that. But what is the big change with this and how it's different from ChatGPT is now you can actually perform, I would say, stateful or destructive operations. Or to like take away the nerdy technology, basically now it can click buttons and add stuff to shopping carts. It can take actions. It can make purchases. Like it can actually affect state change. Like you could have it write emails, change calendars, things like that. And I've experimented with all of this. That is it in a nutshell. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick example of Operator running through a use case. And then I'm going to make a couple more videos showing different use cases for what it can do. All right, so here we are at the Operator screen. And like I said, I will take you through a number of different examples over videos. But for this one, what I'll do is I'll just show you how you can use it to do something like book a table. And it has a bunch of canned examples in front of us, but we'll just leverage off one of those and say, so I'll say, find me a table for 4 next Friday at around 6:30 p.m. at a good barbecue place, right? And so we'll let this run. And actually, I'm going to copy this. And this Operator is not fast. So you have to think about this as they call it an AI agent. And that term always drives me crazy because it sounds like, what does that even mean? But basically, because it's not exactly the quickest thing, this agent is going to go off and use a browser and kind of figure out how to solve this problem for you. So what you do is when you start this, it can be an asynchronous process. And I had some cases where this tool worked for like 30 minutes to solve a problem. But what you can see in front of us, so hey, it recasted it. It said, I'll search for a table reservation at a barbecue restaurant, find an option. And here you can see it's searching. It basically opens a browser and it does what a human would do. It started searching, and I'll just open this wider so you can see it. Now, interestingly enough, like, let's just see what it's doing. It didn't ask me where I am. So let's see if it comes back. But you can see its thought process here, and you can even expand this if you want. So it's searching for reservations, it's scrolling down, and here you can see how it interacts with the browser, similar to how. Now, like I said, it is not fast, and what you are seeing is kind of real time. And probably, definitely in editing, I will speed this up so you don't have to sit through what will be many minutes of this thing kind of figuring out what to do. But like I said, when you think about it as an agent, like, just let it go off and do its thing. You could set it out on a task to find you a reservation, and then you can go on and do some more work. But what I'm going to do is, just in the interest of kind of showing you how this works, I'm just going to let this thing go and watch the entire process. Did you notice it got a pop-up and it saw that and it said closing pop-up for reservation info. And now it's finding like Korean barbecue. Interesting. And notice this, it says scrolling to find Arizona location, seeking Tempe. I don't know how it knows I'm in Arizona. I never said that. It could be like an account-wide piece of state that it got or has from previous conversations. Okay. Oh, look at this. That was actually faster than I thought. I thought I'd have to fast forward all of this, but here we are. I found a few barbecue restaurants, but none offered online reservation. Okay, this Korean barbecue place has a good rating. I can call them. Wow, that is interesting. I can call them to check availability for next Friday at 6:30 p.m. Would you like me to do that? Now, here's the thing. I did not pre-plan this. So I'm going to say yes and see what happens. And here, let's close this back to the chat so you can see this. I'm just going to say, yeah. Okay, I was not expecting that. Let's look at this. Inquiring reservation, noting phone number, calling restaurant. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Okay, so I thought it was actually going to call the restaurant. But here it said I can call them. Would you like me to look up other options? I'm like, no, this is not satisfactory. I'm going to say no, just find something on OpenTable, and Italian is fine. I'll change what I want. So remember, so here I'm saying OpenTable, Italian, not changing the number of people or the time. So here you can see it navigating the OpenTable site. It's using the drop downs, it's selecting the times, and I've seen it do this on sites that it did not, as far as I know, it had never seen before. It's adjusting the reservation, searching for Italian restaurants in Tempe. One thing I think maybe I don't think it's doing right is it is just assuming Tempe, and that's not necessarily correct. That's okay. Okay, so it found a place called Society for 4 people at 6:30, and that's what I asked. Ah, interesting. So this is pretty cool. So here's what it says. To complete your reservation at Society, I need your first name, last name, phone number, email address, and credit card detail. I need a credit card. Wow, that's something. Would you like to provide this information to secure the reservation? And like I said, this is where it can get stateful. Like, it will just put all this information in and it will book the reservation. Of course, it will prompt you before you do that. So there are 2 ways to do this. So here I could click take control, and I could go edit this myself, tell it what to do, and it'll put it in. So I'm not going to actually finish this and make a reservation, but let's just try something. I'm going to give it some fake information, and I'm going to give it incomplete information. My name is Jim Boo. Phone number is 555-555-867-5309. Address is jim@foo.com. So I'm just making this up. I'm not going to give my credit card number. What I'm interested in is, can it take this and add it to the form? And here it goes. So now it needs to figure out that I didn't give all the correct information. So it'll be interesting to see if it tries to submit the form first, or it recognizes that before submitting the form. My phone number is invalid. I guess it didn't like 555. That's funny. Do you notice it's trying to fix that? Well, look at this. Okay. I did not see the browser go down to the credit card section. It says to complete the reservation, a credit card is required. Would you like to provide details to secure the booking? I'm just going to say no thanks. And so one thing I wanted to go back and do is compare this to what would happen on ChatGPT. So let's take the same prompt. I'll go over to ChatGPT and I'll just put it in here. Now this is much faster. Interesting that it came up with a very different set of information. So I don't think I saw barbecue shack in there at all. And there's nothing you can do. So it went and gathered a bunch of information, summarized it. You can't actually take action or place the reservation, which is something you could do over here. So let's try something else. So let's try one other demo for this video, and that's going to be using this for shopping. Now, obviously you can use ChatGPT for shopping, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna shop for a tech product, but using Operator, arguably you could go through and complete the checkout process. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see how well it can cross shop across site. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask it to, let's see, I needed a new hard drive recently for my Synology. So I'm gonna ask it to find me a hard drive across a bunch of different sites and compare and contrast those. Okay, so I said, I need to find an 18 terabyte Seagate Iron Wolf Pro drive. Look at major online retailers to see where I can purchase this drive. I'm also open to refurbished drives, which you might be able to find on eBay. When you are done, make a table summarizing where I can buy the drive and the price. I'm going to say where I can buy the drive, the seller. Because if it goes to a place like Amazon, there may be different sellers. I'm curious if it can process all of that. Now, my guess is this will take some time as it navigates a bunch of different sites, but let's watch it. It looks like it opened a couple tabs. So it first started with just a general search. So first it looks like it opened tabs on Newegg and Amazon. That seems reasonable. I'm going to open this up so we can see what it's thinking. So you can see it's searched, it got retailers, you have opening tab, searching for alternate retailers, checking. Oh, so here, I think it looked at these and it said, I need to find more. So now it's navigating to Best Buy, switching tabs to access Best Buy, opening Best Buy Canada. That doesn't seem right. Let's see if it fixes that. Okay, so it got some data, piling HDD pricing comparison table. So let's close this and look at the output. So here's what we got. It's a Newegg, has it for $340. Amazon was unavailable. That's actually right. Best Buy Canada has it for $549. So this is interesting. So now I'm going to ask, why did you use Best Buy Canada? I am in the US. Okay, this is interesting. That isn't really a good answer. I'm not going to have it corrected, but I just want to give you the sense of kind of what this interaction is like. But you could have gone off and done something else while it went and gathered these results. But now you'd be like, hey, I'm good with the Newegg one. And like you can go have it check out on Newegg. So let's kind of go through that process a bit. Say, I'll buy the Newegg drive. So it's available for $349. Would you like me to provide you the direct link? No, I want you to add it to my cart on Newegg. You do it. All right, it went to Newegg. And so, yep, it found it. Should I proceed with adding it to your cart? So you can see here, it saw the pop-up and it's attempting to close it. Trying to close again. What it has to figure out is it has to decide if I want protection, and it closed that. It didn't even ask me, which that works for me, but some others may not think that's the right answer. Okay, so it has been added to my cart. It says, would you like further assistance with this purchase? So again, as a user, now you could say, you could take over the browser right here. You could take control, log in and finish it, or you could tell it to finish, in which case, of course, you'd have to eventually log in. We'll just say you finished the purchase. All right, so it's unable to complete the purchase. I don't know why it can't click proceed to checkout. We'll leave it here, and what we'll do next time is I'll show you a couple other examples of kind of, I would say, more stateful things, like in particular, like how you do something like send an email or manage calendars or something like that. Let me know what you think below about this, if you've had an opportunity to try it out or you've watched the videos and kind of curious to get your thoughts on this. But we'll leave it here and we'll see you next time.